Thank you, thank you, thank you for the sound, for the healing that is going out tonight on this Pisces full moon. We thank you for everybody that's present. We're asking that our gods, goddesses, and ascending masters, all that are here for our highest good, become present with us now. As we seek direction from the Most High, we ask that all messages be channeled with clarity. We ask for discernment. We ask for protection. We are grateful and thankful for this time, for this space, and for this essence, for this presence. As you guys know, we are in Pisces full moon. Pisces is ruled by the feet. So we know that we've been soldiers this past while, right? For many of us that have been committed to this journey, we've been soul stepping. And in this time, bringing your attention to your feet is bringing attention to your present, right? And I like to see my present. This is the opportunity to welcome yourself into the space, the plane, right? Like go back into school, see the plane. And this was the opportunity, right? And what do you do in space? What do you do with yourself as you are present here in space? This is the force in which we are moving forward. This is the power that is being activated in our root chakra. There's a lot of root chakra activity, but in this case, truly, this is a full body activity. This is a full body activity. I'm sensing the root all the way to the crown. The root is where the force is, where the power, this is where the Kundalini is activated. This is where the fire is activated. This is where your courage is going to be tested. This is where you're going to witness what you're willing to do, right? What is your will? And the will is so important because it is based on your feet. Your steps are going to be directed by your feet. You understand? Which is your will. What are you willing to do? How are you willing to move? It's going to take one foot and then the next, right? The will is reflected in the feet. So ask yourself now, what am I willing to do? You also want to ask yourself, what is it going to take? Because many don't recognize the amount of force that is required to initiate movement in their life. You might ask God, you might ask the Most High, what does it take to move me? And this is where we can see our areas of stubbornness. We can see areas where we have limitations. We can see areas where we have mistrust and doubt or confusion. This is where we have to clear up this area so that we know and that we can
surely step, take steps with surety, right? This is the when we know. And this is what makes us really, really powerful. Some of you might feel lack of energy at this time or some type of weaknesses, right? And so that is your indication that you need to revive yourself, that there is some type of revival that you need. This meaning that there is some type of healing, and you need to figure out what you have to do to heal yourself. Now, looking at the feet tell a lot about self. The feet are a very powerful space. And if you get into reflexology or acupuncture and things like that, you're going to see how these nerve points, how these nerve endings, how the feet within themselves relate and reflect to other parts of the body, right? A lot of you can benefit from foot scrubs and soaks, right? And detoxifications. Speaking of detoxifications, this is going to bring attention to the blood. So the Kundalini rising, the heat rising, is a reflection of the blood and the flow, also a reflection of the water, right? So the water, our emotions, you want to look much at your emotions. Some of you can feel somewhat of a roller coaster. I sense you might feel that free feeling, that willingness, and then you can feel some restrictions. Just know that there is a balance. In balance, there is give and take, right? That's why we have duals. That's why we have the left and the right, because they have to work together. So when one is lacking support, the other goes to stand. And so we have to be able to learn how to support one another. So a lot of unification is coming up in this time. Unifying within and unifying without. Many of you are going to see partnerships. You guys are going to see connections. You guys are going to see duels. It could be simple things, seeing two butterflies, seeing two rabbits, seeing twos of things. Celeste, that reminds me of Noah's Ark. Okay, so this is a new beginning. This is a lot of initiation in our steps. Initiation in our steps. This is going to challenge some of you as far as your trust. You're going to truly see what trust is for yourself. I've told you many times to study trust. Study the trust. The trust is connected to the will, and the will is connected to what? Your feet, your steps, your placement. Look at yourself now. Look at where you're standing. Look at and ask your purpose and ask God, what is it going to take? What power, what force, what source does it take to get me to respond, right? Respond to what? Respond to your abilities. Responsibilities are what comes from the root, because this is where your nourishment is what is feeding you. It is your source. This is what, right? That taste, that hunger, what is feeding me? What is giving me the power to take action to what? To what? This is the purpose. This is the why, right? This is where I see the masculine energy as well. In the Y chromosome, right? The why, the split, the decisions, the choices, the logic, the reason. That's masculine. That's the sun. So where is the sun? The sun is in Virgo. Listen, we have to choose what we care about, meaning that we have to choose what we want to carry. What does the will say? What am I supposed to carry? I'm to carry my responsibilities. I'm to carry God, inner me. I'm not to care about all of these things that will weigh me down, that causes me limitations, that makes me wonder, that cause me confusion, that takes me so far outside of myself. So you guys also need to be looking at, what do I need to release? What do I need to let go of? Mentally, physically, emotionally, what is holding me back? What is making me feel weighted? What is making me feel depressed, right? Depression is something that could be big, right? Depression is compression. But depression is very powerful because it also pushes you down so far that the only thing you can do is begin to stretch and expand, because that pressure is either going to break you or it's going to make you. And so this is a time where self-made, I'm hearing self-made. This is a time where you can take lemons and make lemonade. This is a time where you can utilize anything and make everything. You understand? But it's what you choose to do with it. So I see choices. Everybody has choices. But not everybody knows the will. Not everybody knows the Most High. Not everybody holds the same accountability and responsibility. This is where it gets real unique. This is when it gets real about you. This is when it gets personal. And if you're worried about anything outside of that, then you could do it to yourself. Let's just say that. You can do it to yourself. So be diligent and be able to see clear. And when things are unclear, then just be still. Be still until it becomes clear. I had one tell me just recently, confusion is only the devil. That's only the, and what is the devil? The devil is living in the reverse, right? Living in the reverse is what devil is. That's how we recognize it. So that means that we're in doubt, or we're trying to discern, and we're trying to make sense of, and we have some type of interruptions in the thought, in the knowing process. So when you don't know, then you have to be still until you come to find, until you come to know. And that is something that is God given. A lot of you have to know how to wait on God, right? Which is learning how to wait on self, right? And this goes back to it. This is showing me how we care for ourselves. How do you wait for yourselves? How do you give yourself time? How do you give yourself patience? How do you make the space for yourself? Go back to the plane, right? The plane is an empty space. So where are you placing yourself? Where are you placing yourself? What environment are you placing your 2 feet in? When you take a left and a right, and you're balancing yourself to get to where you need to be, where the hell is you going? What God is saying, where are you going? And why are you there? What are you doing there? What's the purpose? Right? Make sense, make logic, make reason of it. And this is where power and success come from. This is a very successful time. Let's not forget that this is a time of harvest. Right? But I feel like this harvest are for those that know how to operate in the unknown. I feel like this harvest are for those that are taking this initiation for the right to discover, and the right to explore, and the right to see themselves truly, right? I feel like this is for the ones that are working for purification, that are really, really doing the work, which is constant and consistent. It's this balance, this cycle of osmosis, of constant clearing that they're working on. And it reminds you of the rain, of the cycle, you know what I mean? When water is, and then it has to rise into the sky, and then it has to become condensed, and that's that thought, and it has to transform until it falls again, inner self, right? And this is it's a beautiful process. I can't say that it's easy, because it's working, right? It's it takes energy. There's something that it takes. So from this whole body experience, this is also a big time for protection. You got to know how to protect yourself. And I feel like this goes back to the plane. What environment are you placing yourself in, and why are you in that environment? If you're in an environment that you feel is unsafe or unkept or unhealthy, right? You might ask yourself, are you there? Are you there to clean it up? Are you there to purify it? Are you there because you're trapped? Are you there because somebody, you have to know why you are in that space. Really look around. Spirit also has been bringing attention to that Rubik's Cube. And that Rubik's Cube, I always tell you guys, you can transform it. You got to be able to transform it. So go back to alchemy, utilizing your power. The elephant, again, is coming here forth. Now, what Spirit was showing me about the elephant today is that there's a lot of them. Okay, and they're moving across the land. But remember, I forgot this about an elephant, that their steps are almost silent. You don't know that an elephant is coming. Although they're so big, they're actually quiet in their movement. You understand? So when I tell you that this big ass shit is moving across the land, yet nobody can hear it. And the only time you're going to hear it is when there's a stampede, when they start running. That's when you're going to get your attention. But at that point, okay, your home, I think it was Holly, she said, clear your home today. Don't wait, is what she said, right? And so the home is the temple. The home is the temple. This goes back to the tabernacle. You want to go back to the tabernacle, because once you reach that point, you're in the temple. And the temple is the home, and this is the space, and this is what has to be cleared out right here in the home, because the home is a reflection outside of. That's why people that need health, that need that need nourishment, right? That need source. What do? They have to go home. I gotta go home. And inside the home, there should be love inside the home, first and foremost, right? What there's source inside the home, resources within the home. So you got to make sure that your home is in operation. That's meaning that your business is in operation. That's meaning that your temple is in operation. That's meaning that yourself is in operation. And when you're operating, then you are going to make connections. Go back to your partnerships, your relationships, the duals, the two, seeing multiple things, seeing the multiples, the multiplying, right? What else is here? This is very spiritual. This is a lot of crown activity. So it's from the root to the crown. This can be crown cracking. This could be shit. We done seen the queen that got her crown split, not cracked, split, right? So out of here. But look, she passed, she transcended at what? Age 96, a 9 and a 6. That's still a Cancer. Cancer rules what? The 4th house. What is that? Home, right? So we can either see Queen Who, or we can see Big Mama. We can see these, and we got to make sense of them. We got to read in between, right? Read in between the lines. The lines are the two. That's why Spirit is showing multiples, because you got to see it in two, so that you can start seeing the lines, so that you know, because the lines are the boundaries. Remember, we mentioned protection. Don't forget that we mentioned protection here. So also, don't forget that we also mentioned the why, right? This is the whole year is going to be based on why. There's not a time or a point in a space that you should move forward without asking yourself why, because you should always know the purpose in which you're moving. If you don't know why you're moving and you're just moving just because, then you might ask, what is moving you? You understand? And this is something that we come to know. So if only I knew then what I know now, and then the minute you know, where are we? We are in a powerful placement, right? And so that's where a motivation comes from, and that's where initiation comes from. And this is how the 2 feet begin to create motion. And motion is emotion. And this is why I said, what? It goes back to the water. So water is really, really important. I would be paying attention to water in all states and all forms. Pay attention to the water. When I say all states, the gas form, the liquid form, and the freezing ice form, the solid, right? Remember that things get put on ice to preserve it. That's something that Spirit wants us to know. Things get put on ice to preserve it. In closing, I'm just going to say that if you are needing assistance through your limitations, any restrictions, any difficulties while you are in introspection, because sometimes it gets hard to really, really look at ourselves and see ourselves in these views. Sometimes we can experience a lot of pain and discomfort, and it can be hard to feel and feel that pain and understand how to move through it, and why you're asking why do I have to feel this pain? A lot of people can't indicate that to themselves. And so if you are feeling like you just need confirmation, I encourage you to extend yourself, to relieve yourself, to ask for help when you need it. We have a Reiki healer here that's doing private Reiki now. And so that's something that can be beneficial to you. Again, I said things like acupuncture and reflexology, see a chiropractor, things like invest in yourself, invest in your health, look at alternative medicine, meditate with yourself, and just ask your body, as wherever you stand, what do you need from me right now? And close your eyes and let Spirit, God, Source show and reveal to you, what do you need right now? And then you might ask yourself, why do I need that? And some of you might hear to survive, right? To survive, really. So this is the time. This is the time. The time is now. This is a very powerful time. It's an action-filled time. This is a time action, so you might want to look into your Mars. If you guys are tapping into your placement, this is a time to look at Mars. You can look at your natal, and you can also look at the current placement. Okay. Ashe. I'm going to open up the floor to see if there's any questions. And if we don't have any questions, we will be ending this here tonight.
No, I don't have any questions, but this morning when I woke up, I made that post because I don't know if y'all know that old song by Dottie People, but that's what I heard when I woke up. It's like, yeah, it's time.
It is. It is time. And as you continue to hear and you feel called to share, please do, because I think many needed to see the need for that, you know? And that's what it's all about, that's the why, is to be a reflection. I know I speak for myself in that. And I know that you all are reflections of me. I see your powers. So a lot of this action is simply because others will see us be the living truth. And truth is what withstands, and standing is all that will be by the end of that, by the end of this. So that's the power of the Most High. And that's what people are being a witness to. These are the miracles that are being performed on earth. So as long as you are responding to your abilities, and I trust and know that the soldiers are out here performing miracles and healing. And even if it's people you don't recognize that are watching, you know, there's people that you don't have a clue that just saw you walk by, and there was something about you, and in a blinking of an eye, it changed. Exorcisms and things are not just done in the way that we think. Exorcism means to exercise. So you can just come across or be placed in position, and next thing you know, something is activated within another being, and it's you that created that activation within them that began to work. And this work was of the Most High, but it took you to be that generator, to be that power, to be that force and that source. And that comes from those that are truly obedient to their work, right? And so responding to our abilities is not always easy. And I think that's why it goes to show what it means to be chosen and why we have to choose ourselves. And so that's where gratitude and thankfulness really comes in. You know, that's where, to me, the Holy Spirit starts. They be ready to run around the church, man. I be ready to run too. But that running doesn't stop. It's constant and consistent. And so this is the 2 feet in Pisces that's activating that kundalini that's shooting to the crown. And once you reach that crown and you really grounded in that crown is really you, you're never going to take that shit off. You're not. The Holy Spirit is in you, and you fall in love with that spirit, and you let that spirit work on a day-to-day basis. And that is balance. That's truth. That's peace. That's justice. That's freedom. And truth be told, that's beauty. That's beautiful. And it's kind of brutal, but hell, you got to get to hell to get to heaven. So that's what we're here for. And I thank all of you guys for being present here tonight. And we're going to keep on soul stepping from here.
Ashe.
Shay. Celeste, we thank you for your sound tonight. And I will see you guys. We're going to reach out to you guys for your weeklies. And Celeste is, again, she's going to incorporate private Reiki for our memberships. So for everybody that's a member, you're not only going to get weekly readings, but you'll also get your private Reiki. And if you have questions, there's people within the group that's received that, and they'll be able to give you their feedback so that you know that this shit's a go. Okay? I love you guys.
Love you too. Have a great evening, night. You know.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.